Hi, my name is Daniel Klein. I'm with Joseph Studios, and today we're going to be going over our social media results that use Deep Insight and our marketing intelligence capabilities, specifically those clients who are on tier 2 and very specifically those who are on tier 3 with a strategy enabler. Although this is a pre-recording and you're getting this after the fact, if you have questions along the way, please feel free to reach out to us either via the contact form on the website or reach out to an individual team member on LinkedIn, and we're more than happy to get your questions answered. So in the next couple slides, we'll be covering a couple things together. First, let's mention how we're going to help you and how we've helped others in the past grow. Typically, what we do is we'll be using our Deep Insight technology capabilities to go out, find people who you're specifically looking to influence. We'll join them in groups, niches, forums across the internet, and we'll subtly influence them using our Deep Insight capabilities. So what is that? That essentially means we will be building psychographic profiles on the key leaders and the key people that you're trying to engage. We'll be building messaging on social media and any other subscriptions you get with us. Typically, it's blogs or emails or SEO or press release stuff that's specifically written for their psyches. It's specifically written to resonate with who they are at their soul and how their mind works and what processes they have to go through in order to reach a decision. And what this amounts to is a wildly successful campaign. Typically, we see 30 or 40% engagement growth, and we'll get to that in a minute, as a result of taking on this approach of building intelligence on who you're trying to reach, writing very specific messaging for those key people that you're influencing, and then establishing rapport through those messages. So if you were to start with us, here's what that would look like. Typically a 30-minute to an hour-long onboarding where you'll actually meet the team members who'll be executing these campaigns on your behalf. You'll meet your CSM or client success manager who will be helping coordinate the efforts along the way, as well as your social media manager and strategy manager who will be asking you a handful of very pointed questions about where your brand is, where you've been in the past, where you're looking to be, what types of things have you tried and not worked. And then what type of messaging are you comfortable with, and what type of access are you comfortable with giving us in order to build these relationships. So once that's out of the way, typically we'll get started and we'll first reach out to a couple of the people that you list in our onboarding. These can be, they could be target sales opportunities. They can be leadership teams of target sales opportunities. They can be just a general idea of who you're trying to influence. And we'll find the key leaders within those influential groups. Typically, it's only 2 or 5 people. Even on the mega groups on Facebook, there's only a handful of admins that are present or super users that are actively posting. We'll build psychographic profiles on those super engaged people, or we'll build psychographic profiles on the key leaders or key leadership teams that you're trying to influence. And then we'll start writing, in this case, social media copy, but it can also be emails, blogs, etc., that's specifically written for who they are as a person. So here you can see an example of that. This is something that we did here recently. This is a persona that we're codenaming Sarah, but it's not an actual person. Although we run psych profiles on individuals and big targets of our clients, we also run them on groups of people. And we do that by combining their minds together and then running that through our capabilities. And then that spits out kind of like a combined soul of what that leadership team would look like or what the board's culture is like. And typically we see that there might be like 2, tops 3 different types of personalities on that board or on that key leadership team or in that group, but they're commonly very close to one another. And it's not ever been the case where one is a harmonizer who's very laissez-faire and very trying to make everyone happy and just artsy, and then everyone else is a skeptic who's data-driven and results-oriented. It's not that case, and we don't really hire for that as organizations. So that benefits us because we can hone in our messaging on those key leaders and be very effective. Here you can see that we're targeting 5 individuals, and we've combined their minds together into Sarah. So Sarah is a specific type of person. She's a captain. She's decisive, assertive, fast-paced, but she's only moderately intensive, meaning she could be other personality types in a specific circumstance, or she doesn't solely focus on results. She also might focus on getting data before she makes results, or understanding a process before she gets results, or making sure everyone's on board before they go forward. So she's not so far out there that she couldn't see reason, but the typical message would be captain's message. So clearly communicate, resist any ambiguity in your messaging, and display strong persistence towards goals. And that's going to resonate with Sarah, i.e. these 5 decision makers on this actual large conglomerate. So digging a little bit deeper into deep insight and what we would do on social media, and specifically in this case, Sarah, in this case, those 5 board members are going to have specific behaviors that they showcase. And in this case, they'll be decisive. They love energized ideas. They could overlook some details, but they might feel anxious if someone's making decisions on their behalf. And so here we'll be able to list out how this behavior is going to exhibit itself in different circumstances. And we can either train your sales team on how to react in those situations, or we can build a sales copy or pitch or marketing materials that are going to help this person through those circumstances to reach an end state that ultimately benefits your company. So if you're pitching a large company, or you're pitching a very, very targeted group, or you're trying to reach a niche, this is an exceptionally good way of reaching that niche, even if it's a B2C environment, because those people are going to need a certain thing. They're going to be a certain way. And we'll be able to target that at the psyche level to make sure that your messaging works, right? So here's some things that stress out Sarah. Here's some things that are good to keep in mind when speaking to Sarah. And here's what we see as a result of implementing messaging that speaks to the Sarahs of the world, in this case for our client. So here for this client, this is going to be on Instagram. And there's many B2B and B2C companies that are extremely effective on Instagram and get tons of engagement. This is a typical 30-day, what we call benchmark month results. Typically in a benchmark month, things kind of go through the roof. It's a little bit on the crazy side, and we just consider this baseline because we're throwing so much new capacity at these campaigns, and it's so much more effective than what's typically done in the past that we wash all this away as just a baseline month, a good way to get established. But we use it as a benchmark going forward to establish how actual growth is progressing. So in this benchmark month, they got 1,620 Instagram followers, 171 engaged users with a 25.5% engagement rate, and some really great posts up there. And we'll be able to report on this and many other things for your brand as well. And we'll go over those together with your engagement manager, strategy manager, and success manager. All right, so moving forward into month 4, you can see that we typically still see a big spike up. Followers has at this point increased, and this is for a different brand, at month 4 to 2,359. You can see comments are up 140%, likes are up 16%, and engagement overall from the beginning is up 57%. And then if we move into month 6, this is again for a third brand, just to showcase where each brand is at different stages. And these are going back and forth between B2C and B2B. So don't think this is just for B2B or just for B2C. And don't also think that this is just for influencing large crowds or just for influencing a handful of people. It's both. It's everything. This is building messaging for niche groups on closed groups and forums across the social media and digital landscape to the effect of X, Y, and Z. So X, Y, and Z for 6 months is 127% growth in comments, 53% growth in engagements over a 6-month period. Engagement rate at this point for this customer is around 10%, and likes are up 54% from the same time the previous period, and 735% from the previous year. So you can see year-over-year growth is in the hundreds of percents and sometimes the thousands of percents. And then month-over-month growth between month 5 and 6 is still double digits, which is phenomenal. All right. So if you'd like to take a look at some of the specific types of social media posts that we're capable of producing, I would encourage you to go to our portfolio page on our website. And then from there, linking out to the different platforms that we commonly support. We also support a number of other platforms that aren't listed there because they don't really provide that visual. Example of that would be Reddit, Twitter, Medium, Quora, Yelp, Google Reviews, as well as many, many other closed groups and forums across the internet. So if you have specific questions, again, feel free to reach out to us. If you have questions about user personas that you would like to build with our help, or messaging that you would like to build as a result of something you've seen here today, please also, again, feel free to reach out to us, and we're very happy to answer your questions.